Nothing quite like it in all of professional sports.
Ready, let's fight.
Calvin Kattar is in blue. Max Holloway is in black.
Dan, I loved what you said about Calvin Kattar being a slow starter. That slow starting is what cost him in the Zabit fight. He was building as that fight went. So he needs to start a little bit faster because Max Holloway is a momentum guy. And when Max gets rolling, it's very difficult to play catch-up because he gets so far out ahead of you.
This is exactly it, DC, and I broke it down on Inside the Octagon. If you look at the stats for Max Holloway, he stands out above everybody else in the UFC because not only does his success rate go up, but his work rate goes up as well.
Yep.
He throws more punches, he lands more punches, and that goes from the first round to the fifth round. He's a volume fighter, he wears you down, he erodes you, and he just basically takes the fight out of you before you can get into it. Now the question here is Calvin Kattar land some shots early to kind of slow Max Holloway down a little bit? We know he's got the power, but if he allows Max to get ahead on the scorecards, it's going to be very difficult to pull that back.
Yep.
Both guys have invested in some calf kicks early. Holloway's hands look quick as hell. He attacks the body there.
You've seen Kattar do that, and that's good because if you watch Max fight Volkanovski, the first fight it seemed like Volkanovski won with just leg kicks. And if Max is expecting boxing from Kattar, you start to tag him at the low leg kicks. But Max's hands look fast, he looks strong, and boy is he mixing up those combinations.
And this is a fast start from Max as well. Like, he's not normally this busy at all in the first round. This is third round Max Holloway.
Well, you got to think, Max Holloway doesn't spar, so he's getting punched for the first time, so it wakes something up inside of you.
Yeah.
Well, that is a new trend, right, Daniel? No hard sparring the last 2 training camps for Max Holloway.
Yeah, and look, and you know, Kattar's landed 2 real nice jabs, and look at Max's face. It's already red. Now, granted, getting sparring in, sometimes you get beat up a little bit, right? But it also does allow your face to get a little bit callous from getting punched. Max has not been punched in 2 jabs now, and he's already getting red.
That's true. I'd say Max's face is pretty calloused already, though.
Yeah, but you got to, you know, that's
no, I know what you mean.
That's an old school thought process. But
yeah, it's a familiarity of getting hit and
Yeah.
continuing your thought process. I always used to think that about running. You know, I would put myself in a state of discomfort and then try and stay focused. And that's a part of the benefit in sparring,
Oh,
hard
man.
sparring. Being uncomfortable, being familiar with discomfort. Max looks great, though, in this opening.
I love the way he's mixing up the target, though. Everything's not up top, right? He's going to the body of Kattar. He's hitting him up in the head. Then he digs a straight right hand to the body. I love the straight right hand to the body that he's throwing right now.
Oh. Blistering left hand lands for Max Holloway. He does have some swelling on that lead leg, courtesy of those calf kicks from Kattar.
Yeah, and that oblique kick that we're seeing from Max is a new facet to his game as well. We've not seen that a great deal. The chasse kick, as they would call it in Savat. Nice. Good right hand from Kattar, followed by a second.
You have got to not get in the way of the right hand of Calvin Kattar.
Right.
He pops.
Ooh!
Calvin Kattar pops out that left hand. He doesn't always throw it to land. He uses it to range find and set you up. He'll throw a jab a little bit short of your face. The right hand will follow. He'll throw a jab left hook like he did against Ricardo Lamas, and the right hand will sleep you. The guy does a great job of setting up his attacks.
A lot of volume from Max Holloway.
And that
as
won't
usual.
slow down. That won't slow down,
Right.
John. He'll do that for 25 minutes. He can go at that pace for 25 minutes.
I wonder if Kattar was expecting this kind of work from Holloway, or whether he was hoping. Oh, that was a good right hand. Look at the distance Holloway covers with his combinations.
Oh, looked like a nice land a moment ago by Kattar.
Yep. Holloway's right in his face, though, man. He seems to be more than willing to stand in front of Calvin Kattar. And right now, he's a little bit faster than Calvin right now, and Calvin hasn't been able to really get his hands going the way that he normally does.
2-to-1 edge and significant strikes for the former featherweight champion Holloway.
If I'm Calvin Kattar here. Oh, that was a beautiful back kick to the midsection. Landed clean. A consistent target is the midsection in this one.
Oh, man.
What a right hand by Holloway. Max Holloway looks as good as he's ever looked right now.
Right. He's coming with a
Holy
point to
smokes.
prove.
Body kick landed again without as much effect, but a big start for the favorite Max Holloway.
Kattar's standing his ground. He knows he's got the bigger caliber gun in this fight. But what he doesn't want is to be peppered constantly, because that will just take his will to compete out of him.
He just doesn't have the speed, right? Holloway seems so much faster than Kattar right now.
So much faster and diverse in his attack. Look how wide-eyed Max is. Pat, 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 pat. It's beautiful work, really nice.
And Max is throwing feints at him too, right? He'll feint at him before he hits him. He'll feint, pop a punch, change levels, and go again.
I'm going to say one thing that if I'm Kattar, I'm looking out for. Holloway's reacting with his rear hand. So when they were calling for feints in the Kattar corner, as Kattar pumps his jab, Max is bringing his hand away from his face, which is going to open up the opportunity for a left hook.
Not sure what drew that reaction from Max. Maybe he thought it was an eye poke. But there is just no time to rest when you're fighting this guy. Double-digit combinations.
Every time he's throwing 3 and 4. And Calvin's trying to go 1-2, but Holloway's just mixing up the target, going so many different places on his body. Calvin's gonna have to throw with him and not wait until Max is finished to start trying to punch. Right now he's trying to wait until Holloway's finished. He's gotta go with him and try to throw with Max. He cannot wait to the end of the combination to try to let his punches and strikes go.
Max is not wasting his head movement either. When he gets his head out of the way of a shot, he's following it with counter punches, which is going to further discourage Kattar.
The relentless pursuit of Max Holloway continues. Just over 3 minutes here to go, round 2.
Dude, and look at these stats here. 51 of 150 strikes to 22 of 70 for Kattar. Max Holloway's doubled his output and also doubled his success rate.
He just throws so much volume. Now Calvin Kattar just landed a nice right hand up the middle there just a second ago.
Great to have you with us. UFC Fight Night. John Anik, Daniel Cormier, Dan Hardy. You are watching the main event here between two of the best featherweights in the world. Max Holloway, the former champion, taking on Boston's Calvin Kattar, who comes in with the number 6 next to his name. And a strong start for the former champion thus far.
There's just no breathing room for Kattar here. As soon as he starts to think about attacking, Max Holloway pours a combination onto him. Beautiful.
He's waiting. He's waiting in front of Holloway. He can't wait for Max to throw.
Oh.
Oh, there it is. When Kattar goes first, he lands. But he cannot wait for Max Holloway to start every combination and every exchange.
Interesting to hear Tyson Chartier tell Kattar to fight angry. Seemed to follow up on that imperative there.
It's just so much activity.
Perhaps some frustration setting in for Kattar. Has had some moments, though, here in the round.
Yeah, he's landed. He's landed some shots, and you see when he does land, he gets a little bit of a reaction out of Maxie.
And you know what's crazy? Max Holloway is already the stat leader for total and significant strikes. And he's like 300 strikes ahead of the next person, which I believe is Joanna.
Crowd getting behind Holloway here late in round 2.
Honestly, I've never seen Max look as good as this. He looked great in the Ortega fight, but this is a different level entirely.
It's going to be...
Oh, that hurts him!
Huge elbow!
Body shots from Max!
Hurt him bad!
This could be it!
Holloway's going to try to melt
Elbows! More elbows! Kattar's taking these shots from throwing back. Wow!
How tough is Calvin Kattar? And what an elbow on Max Holloway.
Oh! There's another one right through the guard!
Oh, my
Kattar
goodness!
covers up!
He's lining him up for that elbow
and that
one
was
more time.
wide open!
Oh, my goodness. Holloway is beating him up.
Kattar's bloodied. We're going to see him go down if he lands another one of those shots. You could have a good chin, but not for elbows.
Oh, my goodness. Look at the cut on Calvin Kattar's forehead.
30 seconds to go in the round.
Oh, the cut man is going to have some work to do there, John.
Oh, not again.
Oh, my goodness.
The elbow, the weapon of choice for Holloway late in round 2, and now a 1-2.
Max Holloway showing there's levels. Holy smoke.
Wow.
And this is the level of Max Holloway because he doesn't spar anymore. Dude's more dangerous than ever.
Take a week off, man.
Everybody just stop sparring right now. If you're going to look like this.
Oh, head kick. Kattar in real trouble. Saved by the
my
horn.
goodness.
Prepare. He's going to have to lean on that conditioning and that Boston heart that resides within. And it was interesting to hear them talk about a game plan change and go to some wrestling here potentially.
Well, he's going to need to, John, because he has been behind Max Holloway in the stand-up, like way behind. He's landed some shots here and there, but it has not been close in terms of who's been landing the strikes that mean something.
And Holloway's not even breathing heavy. I mean, neither of these guys are, but the work rate of Holloway, 250 strikes thrown compared to 106 for Kattar.
Likely a 10-8 there, Dan, in round 2.
Definitely. It's got to be.
It has to be.
We might even be looking at 2 10-8 rounds.
That's as 10-8 as it gets in round number 2.
As 10-8 as it gets. That's a T-shirt, DC.
Oh, man.
How much can one man take?
Yeah, they're going to have to start looking at this.
Let's go. Get him to the cage. Put him to the cage. Turn him. We need to turn him. We need to turn him. Get off the fence. Get off the fence. Keep that. Let's turn him. Off the fence. Let's turn him.
Kattar trying to turn Holloway around here. As yet unable to do so. There he does.
Yes, sir. You go.
Pretty good elbow there by Cal, but his big lands have been few and far between.
But look at it, though, John. Right away, Max puts him back on his heels.
Ooh!
Nice uppercut there by Kattar.
That was really nice.
That seemed to get Holloway's attention. Now a right hand. And Kattar might just need to get mean and lean on that reckless abandon.
Oh! These
What a
dudes,
fight,
man.
What a fight.
Holy cow.
The fact that we're just getting into the best rounds for both of these guys statistically as well.
Bulletproof matchmaking for this UFC main event.
And they've both landed their best shot, right? Calvin Kattar's uppercut is one of his best punches. Then he landed that great right hand after. Max Holloway's landed nasty elbows and kicks. Both of them have landed, and the other guy's still there.
Holloway keeps lining him up for that elbow. Every time he's up against the fence, you can see him kind of cocking his elbow out to the side. Oh! Oh, what an uppercut!
Body head, huge left hand for Holloway.
Oh, beautiful feint with knee.
Kattar's got to get away from that fence, Dan.
Got to.
When Kattar gets stuck along the side of the octagon, Holloway just goes oh! Great right hand by Kattar.
And that's the thing, one shot from Kattar can change this fight again.
This is where Calvin Kattar can't be, though. Every time he gets along the side, he finds himself getting beat up.
Max Holloway has the most fights in UFC history without ever having been knocked down. Kattar's landed some big shots tonight.
And it's not surprising, right? You saw him hurt so many times against Dustin Poirier, who's a massive puncher at 155 pounds. So to see him taking shots from featherweights isn't surprising. But it's not something you want to continue to do against a guy like Calvin Kattar.
And you know, when we talk about sparring, Max Holloway's considerably reduced his sparring. There's so much more of a playful approach to what he's doing. These combinations are just flowing out of him. The feints are so loose. And I tell you who else is like this, is Conor McGregor. And the hours that he spent sparring with Artem Lobov, playful, cooperative sparring. I mean, Max Holloway just looks so slick. I mean, Kattar's still dangerous, of course. But the volume is definitely on Holloway's side by a long, long way. 330 strikes attempted, 133 landed for Max Holloway, compared to 50 of 146 for Kattar.
8 straight fights with over 100 significant strikes landed for Max Holloway, and we are only in round 3, coming up on the 1-minute mark here.
He just does not back up. I think when you're constantly fighting on your back foot, it's so difficult. And that's not even just fighting, that's hitting pads. If your pad holder continues to press forward in your face, it really does fatigue you.
Well, and if you're a viewer out there that maybe hasn't seen the bulk of Max Holloway's career, probably looks a lot like the best featherweight in UFC history tonight. Nice left hand from Kattar.
That body shot is killer. That will put you off your breakfast.
Keeps wrapping that right hand around the elbow of Kattar. And when he wraps it around the elbow of Kattar, Kattar starts to drop the hand a little bit more, and that's when Max goes up top.
And the thing is, when you see Max wading into range like that, cocking that hand like he's going to throw the body shot, do you let it land or do you block the elbow?
Look at the head movement of Holloway. Oh, my goodness.
It is Holloway's world tonight, 15 minutes down.
Wow.
And the thing is, if you're Volkanovski or if you're any featherweight, you're looking at Max Holloway and thinking, he's not the same fighter I faced last time. This is a whole new problem. This is a different Max Holloway entirely. The speed that he started the fight at is very uncharacteristic. The volume obviously is characteristic, but the variety in his shots is not. The elbows, the body kicks, the variety is just is astounding.
The one thing the champ did, though, Volkanovski, was he went and started wrestling Max Holloway in the last couple rounds. Does Calvin Kattar have that ability? And that's the hats off to Alexander Volkanovski and his well-rounded skill set. To feel like he was behind and show that championship medal and get the victory, although it was contested.
But I need to see that fight again now after watching this.
Kattar certainly is conditioned to wrestle. He's only attempted 2 takedowns thus far tonight.
And I said this earlier in the night, John. Calvin Kattar would not be taking these shots if he wasn't in fantastic shape. These guys are so fit and so prepared that no matter what he's getting hit with, the dude's still taking it and still there to fight.
Can you hear what the corner team is saying? Don't give him a reset.
They want him on his heels the whole time.
Constantly. Every time he thinks about attacking, Holloway's stinging him with something. And the crowd getting on the way. The crowd! There's a crowd here. Beautiful left hook from Calvin Kattar.
Big connection from Kattar at the 3.5-minute mark.
I mean, 3.5 minutes. If Kattar opens up, he can still take Max Holloway out.
Oh, nice body shot there. Left body shot dug right there. Oh, beautiful jab by Kattar.
I mean, look at those stats, 110, 40, and 20. He is just scattergunning techniques all over the octagon, and Calvin Kattar is on the receiving end of 39% of them.
That last body shot really appeared to bother Kattar.
Oh, this could be it!
Oh, you don't want to get hit in the body anymore.
Looks a lot like the beginning of the end.
Holloway's pouring it
Kattar
on.
getting worked here up against the fence, but he fires right back.
How tough
what a
is
fight!
Is he going to go down?
Calvin Kattar is just fighting on his, it's just spirit that's carrying him.
It's amazing he's still standing.
Oh, he's hurt bad.
Can Holloway
legs,
get
look
him
at his
down?
legs,
Oh, Kattar's
he's
on wobbly
going.
legs. Herb Dean
Oh,
watching
he's
the
hurt
action
bad.
here closely.
It's
Another
over.
elbow for
He's
good
hurt bad.
measure.
Calvin
Oh, my
Kattar's
goodness. Oh, my
like
goodness.
a house of cards. He's going to come down in a second.
Oh, my, man, look at Max Holloway. Oh! Look at that elbow that's landed from Kattar, but Holloway is just still in his face.
And yet Kattar still somehow, some way throwing offense and landing at times.
Calvin Kattar is as tough as they come, but Max Holloway is beating him up.
Unbelievable.
One-sided it has been at times,
Oh,
but this
man.
could hold up in the fight of the year conversation, and
I mean-
it's January 16th.
Max Holloway has had 500 strike attempts.
Oh my goodness, look at the, hey, it's
Bam.
the body shots. The body shots have broken down Calvin Kattar. Look,
You're right.
oh, these body shots are so nasty.
We got 90 seconds. Kattar's not going down.
If Kattar goes to the end of
Oh,
this round,
my
it's
goodness.
amazing.
And Dan, when is toughness not something that works in your favor, right? I mean, this could have a residual effect for Kattar.
224 significant strikes.
John, you got to start. You got to start thinking as Tyson Chartier and the rest of the corner.
Yeah.
What do you want to do if you're cornering Calvin Kattar?
Yes.
Because it's 4 rounds to 0, and Max Holloway is not slowing down at all.
I'd be thinking about getting a towel in there, DC.
Soon, but Calvin is still throwing, right? You watch Calvin; he's still throwing. Calvin is still throwing, but you think Glover Teixeira, Anthony Smith, and we were yelling, "Stop the fight! Stop the fight!" There is a time where you have to save your fighter, but look, Calvin does that.
Oh, we got 45 seconds.
Calvin does that, and then they've seen Calvin finish people so many times, they don't want to pull him out of there before he has a chance.
Well, and Kattar has built his whole career for this opportunity against the best in the world, and He's probably thankful Herb Dean and his corner are giving him every chance to stay in this fight. 30 seconds now to go round 4.
Going to be an expensive night of bonuses for Uncle Dana.
Oh my goodness.
Head kick late in the round for Holloway, who is barely breathing heavy after throwing almost 540 strikes.
10 seconds to go.
I cannot believe Calvin Kattar made it to the end of this round. I can't believe it.
Incredible toughness, durability. His corner keeping a close eye on Calvin Kattar, who I feel has probably got a broken rib or something, the way he was breathing in his corner, struggling to get a lung full of oxygen. Kattar's still in there. His corner team have rallied him. Shocked the world with the words that were coming out of the Calvin Kattar corner.
He's going to need a miracle, Dan.
He's going to need a miracle.
A miracle. This is not, he doesn't have hope. He is wishing and hoping on a prayer, praying for a miracle, because there's no other way that he wins this fight. And with the way Max Holloway has looked, it does not seem like that prayer is going to be answered.
The blessed Max Holloway is baptizing him in his own blood today.
And of course, wrestling can be a great equalizer. The champion Alexander Volkanovski has a whole lot of that in his arsenal.
But also the ability to not absorb all these strikes, right? Max never made Volko look like this. He could not pressure him and make him go back in this way. Now, and you know, for his great, Max Holloway looks great right now, but we've seen him look like this before in terms of backing guys up and them kind of melting in front of him. Calvin Kattar should have came in with a game plan to try to get Max going backwards.
And even with this work rate, he's still getting his head out of the way of return shots coming from Kattar.
Right.
This is vintage Max Holloway, man. I've seen him. I mean, it looks like him beating up on Anthony Pettis, when Anthony Pettis just couldn't take any more and fell down.
And Kattar has been hittable in his UFC career, but more often than not, the elite featherweights haven't been able to take his power.
Oh, he hurt him again. He hurt him bad. He hurt him bad, man. I mean, you can stop this fight whenever you want.
We got a broken nose on Kattar for sure, and it's not like he's not been broken before, you can tell, but it's going to be affecting his breathing. Those body shots are taking it out of him. Switched his stance now. That's very interesting.
Just over 3 minutes to go.
I mean, I don't want to sound like a Karen. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be Karen. That's tattling. But I'm telling you, man, I would be thinking about stopping this fight, honestly, John. Like, just, man, I don't know if my guy should take this much damage, even though he's landing. Right? He's hitting Max with his best shots, and it's not doing anything. He's taking so much damage.
And man, Holloway looks like a 10-round fighter tonight. Looks like he could go an hour.
Yeah.
Throw 12 or 1,400 strikes.
And I mean, Calvin has hit him. Calvin has hit him. Calvin has landed his best punches, and it has not deterred Max Holloway at all. So at this point, it's Calvin Kattar just getting beat up.
I'm just throwing some stats out there again. 268 of 622 attempted strikes compared to 98 of 262 for Kattar. I mean, Kattar's throwing, but he's not landing nearly as much.
No fighter in UFC history, guys, in any fight has attempted as many strikes as Max Holloway has tonight, 631 and counting.
And I will also say this, if you look at the most significant strikes landed in a fight, the majority of them were on the ground. And this fight's not touched the ground.
I would really think about stopping this if I'm Herb and the coaches.
He pointed at you, DC. He's even listening to the commentary team.
The no-look right hand. But then Kattar touched Holloway there.
Oh, my goodness.
He landed a no-look right hand.
Max Holloway just looked at the commentary team and said, I'm the best boxer in the UFC, whilst slipping punches. I have never seen anything like this in my life.
Bro, he's in a zone, right? Sometimes you're just in a zone.
Dude, this is his new zone. He's made a new zone.
Max Holloway just shot 6 3-pointers like Michael Jordan did that one time. And Mike was like, I don't know what's going on. That's Max Holloway's game tonight. Unbelievable.
I feel sorry for Calvin Kattar. I mean, he prepared for Max Holloway as we knew him.
Oh, man, look at all the blood.
The freshman game to play, baby.
Oh, my goodness.
It's the Max Holloway show tonight.
If you guys are remembering, Calvin said he's the senior in boxing, Max is the freshman. So Max is saying The freshman came to play as he is battering and bruising Calvin Kattar around the octagon. It's crazy.
What an incredible performance from Max Holloway.
Smokes.
Final 30 seconds.
Man.
I mean, what is it about Fight of the Years in January?
I'm telling you.
Like, raise the bar for everybody.
Kattar donating pints of blood and toughness tonight.
I mean, bro, hats off to Calvin Kattar for surviving.
No doubt.
But this thing could have been stopped from round 3 on.
Hawaii's finest, looking a whole lot like the best in the world tonight. Max blessed Holloway with a monumental effort. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score the contest 50-43, 50-43, and 50-42. For the winner, by unanimous decision, the pride of Hawaii, Max Blessed Holloway.